You start the week with 5 games, 7 days. Does that enter into any of your planning on either rotations or how you work on things?
Not really experimenting, but I definitely am conscious of the minutes and especially as we get towards the end of the 5 and 7, the minutes are definitely a concern. But we're gonna stay the course for the first few games and then kind of read it from there.
How different is it preparing for this team with Morant out?
It's different in that you don't have his dynamic play, but it's difficult in that they're 13-2 without him. Yeah, I mean, you don't have his downhill and all the things, special things that he does, but they still play well without him. So.
Coach, with this new era of players like Jalen, and the guy in Detroit from John Blank, Cade Cunningham,
Yeah.
It seems like the newer guys are starting to utilize the mid-range game just a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Are you starting to get a sense that those guys are starting to bring the mid-range game back? Because it seemed like a couple of years ago, the mid-range game is kind of like going away.
Yeah, I think it's a product of a couple of things. Yeah, these guys are coming in and they're comfortable shooting them, and the drop coverage and pick and roll is allowing that shot. But yeah, it used to be teams were playing more up in the pick and roll, so you'd have the roller and the bump and close and all that stuff, and it just became more of a three-point shooting game. But the way teams are defending now, giving up the mid-range shot, players always are going to adjust, and these guys are adjusting to how they're being defended, which is teams are allowing the mid-range.
Stephen, when you look at the Grizzlies, and you just mentioned they're 13-2 without Morant, what particularly do you see, in their style of play that changes, and just how did you prepare for that game today?
Yeah, so what changes is Bane's like super aggressive. He's always aggressive, but he seems like he's more aggressive when Ja's out. Also, the rebounding is always a big issue, and whether he's in or he's out. So the big things for us are like the transition, not letting them get out in transition, get the easy points, but it's also the easy points that they get off the rebounds. And everybody steps up just a little bit, it seems. It's not just one guy who kind of, Jones obviously starts and plays well, but everybody seems to just kind of raise their game just enough to where they're successful in those games. And they're hard to play against anyway, but they're motivated and they are all playing just a little bit better, it seems, when they need to.
You rebounded these guys last time. They're probably the best rebounding team in the league. Is there anything to just the emphasis that has to be on it when you're playing a team that rebounds that well, or even just give up fast breaks to go get boards that was different that game than in the game since?
Yeah, I mean, the couple things that we did well in that game were the transition, where we limited them to, I think, 16 transition points, and they usually get like 25, which is a lot. And then the rebounds are huge. And the message to the group today is not just on the 5-man, it's not just on the 4-man, it's on everybody to get back in and get the rebounds, because their second chance opportunities are just killers. So the story of the game will definitely be the rebounding tonight.
Is that a challenge, though, for a team that wants to run, to say, don't run, go get the board?
Yeah. We try to employ that on the other end. We try to crash the offensive glass, and you see we do it differently because we don't have the same size, but we do it from the perimeter where we're crashing in and we're trying to get the offensive rebounds, which in turn forces teams to box out, forces teams to concentrate more on like securing the rebound as opposed to just getting in and running. So yeah, that's like a concept that we employ in a different way.
Coach, a question away from the court. Do you ever get a chance to just enjoy March Madness as a basketball fan?
Yeah, I do. I have the games on and I watch, and I don't know many of the teams or many of the players, but it's the last second opportunities, and there's just the hype around the whole thing, and like watched some of the Baylor Carolina game yesterday, which is a crazy game. And now obviously the U of H game is close and I'm cheering for them. So yeah, I do watch as a fan. It's pretty cool.
You scout and be like, I might want that guy.
It's hard not to watch. It's hard to watch and not like notice that some guy is really good. I wouldn't necessarily call it scouting.